what are the biggest challenges that crypto traders in India face when it comes to tax filing under this regime?
There are several. First, record keeping. Many traders use multiple exchanges and sometimes even P2P or DEXs. Tracking each purchase, price, sale value, and profit or loss for each trade is a nightmare without the proper tools. Second, lack of offset provisions. In traditional investments, if you make a profit on one stock but a loss on the other, you can offset the two. But with crypto, losses can't be adjusted against gains, nor can they be carried forward. So third is TDS reconciliation. Traders must manually reconcile the 1% deducted from each trade across platforms and make sure it reflects in their Form 26AS. And finally, talking about the gray areas, whatever about staking rewards, NFTs, airdrops, there's still very little clarity on how these should be taxed.
Hello and welcome back to Blockchain Ki Baat Netcap के साथ, your one-stop podcast for decoding blockchain, Web3 and how these innovations are shaping our future. I am your host Simran, and in today's episode we are tackling a hot topic that every Indian crypto investor must understand, that is crypto taxation. From a flat 30% capital gain tax to 1% TDS on every transaction plus a 4% surcharge, Indian crypto tax policy is one of the most aggressive in the world. Whether you are a casual trader, a long-term holder, or someone just curious about how crypto is treated by the Indian government, this episode is going to break it all down for you. To help us decode this complex but crucial subject, we have with us returning favorite blockchain compliance expert, Ruchi. Welcome back, Ruchi.
Thank you, Simran ma'am. Always a pleasure to be here. And I agree that this is a topic that everyone in the crypto space needs to understand, especially with how the Indian tax regime is structured right now.
Let's begin with the elephant in the room, the flat 30% tax on crypto gains. Ruchi, why does the Indian government tax crypto this way? And how is it different from the traditional assets like stock or real estate?
Great question. The government treats crypto under a special category called virtual digital assets, and unlike stocks or real estate, there's no distinction between short-term or long-term holding periods. In stocks, for instance, if you hold equity for over a year, you pay just 10% on gains above rupees 1 lakh. Real estate has indexation benefits, but crypto, it's flat 30% on profits, no matter how long you held it. This policy came into effect in April 2022, and the rationale was to treat crypto like a trading speculative income, similar to gambling or lottery winnings, which also face flat tax rates. It's the government's way of signaling caution.
Now let's talk about the infamous 1% TDS. Can you explain how it is work and why it is applicable even if the trade is in the loss?
Sure, the 1% TDS on tax deducted at source is collected on every crypto transaction, not just the profitable ones. So if you sell Bitcoin worth rupees 10,000, even at a loss, the platform deducts rupees 100 as TDS and reports it to the income tax department. It's not a tax on profit, it's a compliance tool. The idea is to track every single crypto transaction. The government uses this to monitor trading activity and match it with your ITR. Now the good news is you can claim this TDS as a credit while filing taxes. But the bad news is that it hurts liquidity for high-frequency traders who make dozens of trades a day.
So Ruchi, what are the biggest challenges that crypto traders in India face when it comes to tax filing under this regime?
There are several. First, record keeping. Many traders use multiple exchanges and sometimes even P2P or DEXs. Tracking each purchase, price, sale value, and profit or loss for each trade is a nightmare without the proper tools. Second, lack of offset provisions. In traditional investments, if you make a profit on one stock but a loss on the other, you can offset the two. But with crypto, losses can't be adjusted against gains, nor can they be carried forward. So third is TDS reconciliation. Traders must manually reconcile the 1% deducted from each trade across platforms and make sure it reflects in their Form 26AS. And finally, talking about the gray areas, whatever about staking rewards, NFTs, airdrops, there's still very little clarity on how these should be taxed.
That's a tough spot for investors. Is there any way they can reduce tax liability, like by using losses from other traders or claiming deductions?
Unfortunately, under the current laws, deductions are extremely limited. No deduction is allowed for mining costs, internet expenses, or even gas fees. losses from crypto can't be offset even against other crypto gains. You also can't claim reductions under Section 80C or similar sections. So the only real way to optimize is track your TDS and claim it during ITR filing. Book losses in other asset classes like stocks, which can be offset. Consider holding instead of frequent trading, and especially if you're incurring cumulative TDS deductions.
And what happens if someone doesn't report their crypto activity while filing ITR? And are there penalties or IT department's red flags?
Absolutely. With the TDS system in place, the IT department already knows you made crypto transactions. It appears in your Form 26AS. And if you fail to declare these, you may get a notice from the Income Tax Department under Section 139, or worse, face penalties up to 200% of the tax due plus interest. Repeated non-compliance can also be treated as willful concealment, which may invite prosecution under certain sections. So it's not worth the risk. It's always safer to declare everything and stay on the right side of the law.
So finally, Ruchi, do you think the current tax regime 30% flat tax, 1% TDS and 4% cess is sustainable, or do we need a reform to support innovation and adoptions?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Right now, the tax regime is discouraging active participation, and high taxes and TDS are pushing traders to offshore exchanges or even the informal market. If India wants to become a Web3 leader, it needs to shift from punishment to policy, like offering slab-based taxation, allowing loss set-off, or incentivizing long-term holding. That said, these are still early days and the government is watching the space, and we can hope that as adoption grows, policy also evolve to be more aligned with innovation and economic growth.
Makes sense. Hopefully with the clearer regulations and framework from the RBI or SEBI, tax law can also evolve to support the good actors in this space.
Exactly. The future of crypto taxation should not just be about collecting revenue. It should enable innovation, protect investors, and attract global builders to the Indian Web3 ecosystem.
That was incredibly insightful. Ruchi, I think a lot of our listeners are now breathing a bit easier, or at least more informed.
Glad to be here, ma'am. The key is to be aware, stay compliant, and hope for the better, fairer future for crypto in India.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to follow Blockchain Ki Baat Netcap ke saath. We will back with more eye-opening discussion on everything Web3 and beyond. Until then, stay smart, stay legal, and stay decentralized.